this. As you can see, I'm secure in my own domicile slash bunker here, so we are relatively protected. So I am taking this bloody thing off. And for those like you who have been wearing this thing for the past 8 weeks, I know you feel my pain when you finally take this thing off. So welcome to what is the first and hopefully not too many of our whiskey tastings. As you know me, I am Martin, and welcome to my program. Um, John was slack when he left the keys in the whiskey case, so I was able to procure a couple of bottles here, and looking at everything that's been going on here the past couple of weeks, we need a respite from all this shit. So I figure, hey, let's break out some good whiskies and let's dig in. What do you say? Sounds good. So, for those of you who know me and know what I offer here, I always try to bring out something new, something unique, something that you're not going to find anywhere else. And so when you're looking at the whiskies, I figure, what the hell? Let's go for something that can at least give us some good comfort and open our eyes up and at least get us through these dark times. So we're starting out here tonight with the Caledonian. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with the Caledonian, Caledonian was a distillery in Edinburgh that ended up closing back in 1988. So the whiskey that you have right here is one of the last runs from this dead distillery. It's a good way to start off the evening, and it's, considering everything we've been through, I think it's a good way to get us through it. Then we're going with the Liquid. Liquid here, I know that there are many of you that I've introduced this to for various reasons, but a good solid one, and I think you will definitely enjoy. Then, of course, onto the Tullibardine. Now, Tullibardine, for those of you who know me, know this is one of my absolute favorites. This is never lets me down, and this is something that, with, like I said, everything that's going on here, we need some good fun. And then finishing off, of course, with the Lechik. There's been a running joke here between me and John about this one. And so I figured, hey, might as well have a good crack and use this to finish off. So let's get started. For those of you that got your drams all set up, if you've got some cairn glasses, great. If you didn't, I won't burst your balls this time. I'll forgive you. I would say if you could grab, a Collins glass if you have it. If you've got a juice glass, anything that is small and able to shoot the aroma up your nostrils, that would be perfect. So let's grab our glasses and let's start out, shall we? And as always, if you have any questions here, tap it in, and my lovely assistant here on the other side of the camera, she'll be able to convey any questions or any comments that you have to me. But let's keep it tactful. I mean, we've got a mixed crew here, and you know me, but I don't know how the rest of Los Angeles is going to take this. So here we are, starting out with the Caledonian. Take your glass, pour your measure in. Now, I learned this one. This one is a brilliant technique here. Charlie, when I last saw him, showed this to me. This is one that I knew from a long time ago, but kind of forgot about. He reintroduced it, so I'm going to run it past you. Take your glass, put your hand over top of it. Shake the shit out of it. I want you to shake this hard. Get as much of the whiskey onto your hands as possible. Okay? Take, rub, first breath, inhale. Don't really pay too much mind to it. Second one, inhale deeply. You get to notice the first notes, and then the second, inhale subtly. That one will give you the second. Okay, now Caledonian here is a single grain. It's not a single malt because it used a coffee still in order to make it, so that's what qualified for a single grain instead. But you will notice here, lots of subtlety. I'm noticing almost like toffeed apples, you know, throwing in with a wee bit of like the smell of your back garden in springtime. Anybody else noticing anything good?
Can you repeat which one you started with?
Oh, the Caledonian 31 year. Now that one was the last production run for the Caledonia, the Cali distillery in Edinburgh, as they call it, which was for a brief bit of time. It was one of the largest distilleries in Scotland. So they specialised in a lot of, because they had a coffee still there. They had a lot of whiskies that would be more Irish in its style, which is indicative of what you find for the lowlands there. And they also did supply a lot of things for White McKay and other blends of their date. So here we are. Take your glass. Now that first bit, you're gonna get the heavy alcohol, which is what you're gonna find with a lot of Irish whiskies, and then you get the more subtles. And like I said, I'm still getting the toffee apple here. So at this point, cheers, lads. A lot of forward burn, bit hot on the tongue, and then I love the bit of warmth as it hits right here about the gullet here. It's quite nice.
We've got some people smelling apple and apricot.
Mm-hmm.
Matt, Chet, and Ruth say hi.
Oh, by the way, I want to say to all of you, the Friday night crew, thank you for making this happen. You're absolute ace. And I miss every single one of you. I really do wish you could be down here to join me, but this is the next best thing. Tough. Now, for those of you who know me, and I will reiterate this till the cows come home, you have a wee bit of water there, don't add it. Not yet. Don't ruin it. This is one, you will drown it if you add any water to this. If you have to add water, for those of you out there that do, one wee drop, nothing more than that, because you will lose all the subtlety if you add anything to it. So at this point in time, you're going to catch me doing the one thing that I normally do not do. And on that one, I agree with you. Apricot. Lots of apricot coming in there. Also, that really just opened up the heat on the tongue for me, more towards the back of the throat. Wayne, if you're watching right now, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
He's watching.
All right, good. By the way, I miss you terribly, mate. I miss all of you. I really do wish we could be together, but I'm glad we're able to do this.
Ryan and Annabelle say hi.
Likewise, it's good to see you, and I'm glad I was able to at least do a bit of the bane for you. You gave me the inspiration. So, any other comments about the Caledonian here? Any questions about it?
Martin Oliver was getting caramel or toffee. Wants to know which one you got.
I got the toffee, actually. I got more toffee than caramel. But they're very similar in its nature, and especially for a whiskey like this, you will find a lot of those notes on it. So, seeing as how we're doing pretty good here, I'd say it's time to move on. The next one, you got one of my personal favorites, the Liquid. Now, you'll see from the label on the bottle, it says Linkwood Glenlivet. Now, I was doing some research on this one and an interesting bit of history. As I've told everybody that comes into the town, you've got what's called the Dufftown Cluster. Now, that's where you find all of your good whiskies, your good Speyside whiskies there, you know, from the Glenlivet, the Macallan, Linkwood here, which is one of the primary components to Johnny Walker Black. But you'll see on the label that it says Linkwood Glenlivet. And I found out doing a bit of research after George Smith died, he handed over the Glenlivet distillery to his son. Now, his son, in turn, because of how popular Glenlivet was getting in that day, he was noticing that all the distilleries were putting their name, the Glenlivet name, to their whiskey. And so he tried to actually sue to keep a copyright. It was one of the first documented cases of copyright infringement. The courts actually sided with Glenlivet with an exception. They said that as long as there was a hyphen and the name Glenlivet, it was still legally allowed. So that's the reason why you will see this. The single cask version of this will have Linkwood Glenlivet, which was Linkwood's original name. So you're going to find a lot of the Cadenhead bottlings, which will have a hyphenation of the distillery. It will be back to this era where there was a bit of skullduggery that was going on with copyright. So, going into the measure on this one. And once again, wipe the hands here with your cloth there, whatever you got, make sure you get it nice and clean. But like I said, just go through it and shake the shit out of it. Get some good whiskey on the hands. Robe. Okay, that's the first. Now there. I'm picking up a lot of, it's a cross between caramel and creme brulee. If you can really get some of that. But of course, going right into the creme brulee, especially the coating in the back. You'll notice a bit of oiliness towards the back there, and it really just coats the tongue quite nice. What I've always loved about Linkwood is that no matter what ends up happening, you can hold it on your tongue forever. This is one of those whiskies that you can just keep there and enjoy and enjoy, and you really didn't feel the burn until it hits the throat after you swallow. This is one of my favorites. Cheers. Good stuff. So what about you? What do you think? Anybody out there noticing?
Frank said he's getting a floral scent.
Interesting. Was that, Frank, was that when you were first sniffing or after you tasted it?
Wait and see. Jeff got pear.
Interesting. You can see that. Oh, definitely. Especially after the second sip there. Almost like an eau de vie.
Patty says you're her favorite bartender and you're the best.
Well, I do miss you too. I miss all of you. I really do wish we could be together. But soon enough, soon we'll get past all this shit, and I guarantee you, the second we open up, everything's ready. Come on down. I got you sorted.
Wayne would like to know if you can spend a few minutes on each of the whiskeys, why you selected them, given so how many options you had.
Well, Wayne, okay, you know me, mate. The story about everything that's going on here, we've gone through 8 weeks of lockdown. And as much as I would like to really go into the exotics and everything, the first thing that came to mind when they asked me about this, to do this, was comfort. All of us have been through a lot of shit. And nothing would make me happier than just to have a good sit down, have everybody around, and just have a great crack and shoot the shit for hours, which is what I would love to do. So I figured if I kind of be with you personally and talk about everything under the sun, the least I can do is get you some whiskeys that would be some good hits. So I would say the reason why I chose these is like every comfort food out there, this is what we need right now. We need some good, solid, happy time, a good crack. So, um, with all the whiskies, every single one of these I've chosen because in one way or another, it's reminded me of home. It's reminded me of something that I've had to leave behind, and especially with everything going on here, we need it now more than ever. And for you, I wanted to share things that make me happy. So they just popped out. They suck.
Frank wants to also know, will any of these be available when we reopen?
Oh, of course. No, Frank, these are all the ones that we have in the case, and I know for you, you've had 3 out of these 4. I've given to you multiple times, as a matter of fact. So when you come down, I got you sorted, mate. I definitely got you sorted.
Richard Frank is asking, is there a particular snack that goes best with this?
Um, I would say honestly, that's a difficult one. Um, if you have, God, I'm trying to think here. If you have some clotted cream, either the clotted cream fudge, or if you have just some regular clotted cream, the liquid would be absolutely brilliant. Um, I've never really thought about that snack wise. That's actually something I should really investigate. Now that I think about it, because normally when I'm just having a whiskey, I'm just sitting and enjoying myself. So that's I'm working on it. I'm definitely.
Matt says some tears might have gotten in his whiskey.
Well, Matt, okay. Give me a Jesse. Alright, come on, toughen up here just this one time. We're having some good times here. No need to go all soft and sentimental on me. We'll save that for the next round. By the way, I miss you, mate. I really do miss you. It's I cannot stress this enough. This is something that I enjoy, and I just enjoy sharing my whiskey with you. And I really do wish you were here, all of you, because I would love to just crack open the case and just stomp one in John's left right to the front. Soon enough, we will. I guarantee you that. Soon enough, we will. So, if there are no other questions to delve into, we're now going to the Tullibardine. Now, the Tullibardine, for those of you who know me, you know that I come from 2 different sides of the country. My dad's from Glasgow, my mum's from Dundee. So, for those of you who are familiar with the River Tay and Tay ciders, you'll know the reason why I ended up going for this. Now, my uncle, he's one of the masters over at Glenaltis, which is a good solid Speyside. But the Tullibardine, when I was growing up, I used to take me through the cairngorms. So when we would go hiking, there's just a particular aroma that you end up finding with the River Tay. There's a vibe. There's just a nuance about it that screams whenever I break this out. So this is one of the ones that I go to. For those of you who know me, you ask what are my favorite whiskeys, and I will tell you it's always depending on the mood that I'm in, how I'm feeling at the moment, and when I am feeling very homesick and I want to reminisce about my childhood, this is one that I will go for. Now, this is actually located, it's just south of the Cairngorms there, in between Stirling and Dundee. Good, solid Highlands whiskey. This is one that when you are thinking about the glory of the Highlands, this is one that you really want to go for. So, once again, bake and shake. And shake. You'll notice that there isn't a big aroma on the first. And the second, I'm picking up a lot of wood. I think one of the best reviews that I ever read about a Tullibardine was it smelled like an old dunnage warehouse stuffed with granola. So that smell of aged wood followed with the sweetness that goes with roasted and stewed oats. So it's a combination of that. A good solid wood smell and a nice hearty aroma all rolled into one. Ah, good stuff. Hmm. On that one, I'm almost picking up a tobacco.
Jason got some fresh cut wood.
Oh, okay.
Wayne smelled a little bit of a dry sherry.
Okay. That actually makes sense because, like I said, dunnage, for those of you who aren't familiar, dunnage was always waste material that was put in between cargo on early sailing ships to keep the cargo from rattling around. It later referred to things that were left in the cargo hold, like your personal belongings. But it was all originally it was slabs of wood that was left over from various, either furniture makers or cooperages that would be packed in to keep the cargo from rattling. So you're always going to get that, like I said, that good solid woodsy aroma with it.
We're getting some green apple pepper, wood.
Okay. Pepper.
Nadia smells chocolate mint.
Interesting. You smelling some after eights, are you?
Can you repeat which one we're on again for Andrew?
Andrew, we are on the Tullibardine, the 21 year. So, like I said, when you, and it's very hard to describe until you've actually been there, but when you get towards the Highlands, especially towards the Cairngorms, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about when, the smell of the woods, the smell that goes along with this whiskey really just pops through. And it just reminds me of it so much.
Jenna asked, what about mulberry? Is anyone getting mulberry?
I haven't picked up any mulberry on that one, but I can see it though. I definitely see that. Interesting. I'm going to have to give this another go. Okay, I'm not quite picking up the mulberry there, but I definitely, like I said, I'm picking up a lot of like granola and muesli, if that makes any sense. But hey, I'll take your word for it.
Matt wants to know, what region is this one from?
This is a Highlands, so it doesn't qualify as a Speyside because it did get its water from anything that feeds into the River Spey. So this is technically still considered a Highlands. It's just south of the Cairngorms, like I said, in between Stirling and Dundee. All right. So, any more questions? If not, let's move on. Now, the last, of course, is the legend. Now, because I am not a fluent Gaelic speaker, I even have problems with pronunciations of certain distilleries. And this was a running joke that John and I have had for a good long while, because he loves to burst my balls about this. Because you know, I should have known, but I didn't. So my cousin actually had to set me straight. So even though people will look at it and say Ledeich, it's pronounced Lechic. Now the story about Lechic here is the original distillery was founded in 1798, and funny enough, it wasn't allowed to become a distillery. It was actually supposed to become a brewery. But the founder of the distillery decided, you know what, I'm not going to listen to a word you say. I'm going to do my own. And he decided that he was going to, distill spirits anyway. So when the distillery was converted over to Tobermory actually makes a lot of various whiskies. You know, they do make their own single malts, but they dedicated strictly the peated version to the Lechic here. So this comes from the Isle of Mull, which is in the Hebrides section. It's not quite there, but as I'd like to point out to most of the people that come in, if you look at Scotland roughly as a map, Mull is right here, just north of the Isle region. So you're going to get a lot of the peat, but it's not going to have the level of the spang and moss that you end up finding in a normal Isla whiskey. So now with this one, because it's peat, this is one of the only ones that I would ever say you add water to. Now, before we get to the water here, got to go through the test so you can understand why. So give it a good shake. And this one, the style that I like to tell everybody is take every burning leaf pile and every campfire that you've ever had in your life, pour your whiskey through it into a glass, and that's what you'll end up getting. Now, yes, good solid peat. Now, this is the point where I would say the water. One drop, not a bit more. And now, do you notice that? It smells like tanned leather, like a good solid old saddle, or like the saddle that you would find on a Royal Enfield after the war. You know, that good proper, tanned leather that you're never gonna find again. Good solid earthy smell. Mm. And now, when you're inhaling it from the glass, I don't know about you, but the thing that I always notice about the Lechic is it always smells like a struck match. Literally, like the instant that you end up putting a match right under your nose, that aroma just shoots right up. And then now we're to the tan leather, almost like Victorian books. And you keep it on the tongue for a second there, and afterwards, after you swallow, did anyone notice jalapeno? Like a good solid pepper, like a Scotch bonnet almost. It really kind of pops in the middle. It's when I have people who tell me that they didn't drink whiskey, and they tell me that they drink other spirits. I find out what they go for. If you're a tequila drinker, this one, either this or Ardmore are the two whiskies that I will lean you towards, because they will have the same kind of almost mezcal vibe, especially after you add the water to it. And that third set, that's the bear that you've been waiting for all night. Now, people ask me, what whiskies do I drink? And I tell them it depends on my mood. Um, if I want to punish myself and I want to remind myself that I'm going to pay the price for it in the morning, this is the one I go for. This is one that I like to describe as unicorn pie. It goes down great. You pay the price for it the next morning, and I guarantee you, you will pay the price. Now that's one that definitely clears the sinuses, and you can smell the fires coming from around the Van Nuys from 2 years ago with this stuff. I guarantee you. You will smell things again with this that you haven't smelled in 10 years. And that last one, that last swallow right there, I've just cracked pepper. Like I said, this is one of those whiskeys that if you are really into the mezcal, if you're really into tequila, especially the añejos, reposados and añejos, this is a good one. This is a good segue. So it's, if you really want to impress, your friends, break out either a leche. I would also say another good substitute would be Jura. Jura is a good one, or Ardmore. Ardmore is a solid Highlands, but it has some of the similar qualities, and it really brings out that pep as it's clearing everything out. It has the pepper that you would end up finding in a lot of agave-based spirits. Anybody noticing anything?
I have smoky. Let's see. What else do we get? Like a nice leather wallet.
See, yes, leather wallets. Leather wallets, like I said, Victorian boots, saddle leather.
Peat.
Mm-hmm. The peat on this one is going to be different than what you will find with like Ardbeg, Kilcoman, Port Husky, those sort. The sphagnum is not as present in this peat, so you're not going to get that antiseptic quality, but you are then going to get a different type of peat.
Wayne gets the tequila vibe.
See,
but not agave.
Well, no. I'm saying any spirit that is made from the agave plant. So tequila, mezcal, especially like I said, a good, añejo or a reposado.
Frank says when it sits on the tongue, he gets some pepper.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely. Like I said, the fresh cracked pepper, or even, and I don't know how many people would actually be up for this, but the vibe that you get from a Scotch bonnet or a habanero, once you get past that burn, the flavor that you have of a habanero is very similar to the flavor you get with this when it's sitting on the tongue for a while. Don't know exactly why, but it really has a lot of similar characteristics.
Andrew said that it finished with a toasted marshmallow.
Interesting. Huh. I'm going to have to try this again.
Michael says, cheers from Maui.
Oh, Michael. Good to see you, mate. I wish you were here. I really do. When you come back, I've got a special one strictly for you. I've been waiting to crack it open. Andrew, I can see where you're saying the toasted marshmallow, especially like if you left the marshmallow in the flame and you got that black char on it and you start eating it, I can see where you got that. That's interesting. I'll have to think about that. Huh. So, as you can see, this is one of the few that I will ever say add water to. Most of the time, you don't want to ruin the whiskeys. You can add water if you so desire, but just remember that, like I've said multiple times, this is one that if you end up going for a subtle whiskey like a Lowlands or a Speyside, you could run the risk of drowning it out. So if you have to add water, be very sparing. And when it comes to any, islands, Isla, Hebrides, Orkinian whiskies, those ones, add one drop and then go from there. Don't go overboard where you see people that they want to put in an entire eyedropper full, because you'll just lose everything. At that point, you might as well have some black bottle and just call it a night. Well, for all of this, I am glad that I was able to sort everybody out. like I said, I missed a lot of this. I really wish that everyone could be here because there's nothing better than seeing the look in people's eyes when I have them try a new whiskey or have them go to a classic favorite. This is indeed trying times, but I'm glad I could at least share with you in some kind of fashion. And if I could brighten up your night here, I'm more than happy to do so. So hopefully we won't be doing too many more of these, but for the next one here, I guarantee you I will find something more exotic and something that will definitely catch you off guard. But we have to start somewhere, so I figure let's start off with some good solid comforts.
Matt's wondering if you could teach them a Scottish toast to end the night.
Oh, Matt, come on, no. Oh,
Can you... Actually, he changed his mind.
No, you don't get to change your mind.
Matt's still on the Scottish toast. Andrew wants to know maybe a Scottish drinking song instead.
Let's stick it with the toast.
Okay.
For tonight, because this is the first launch, so I figure let's start off with the toast. In the Highlands, whiskey through our veins, and to our friends, sometimes they flow into our glasses. Slungy up. I'm glad I could share this with you. I hope to see all of you again very soon. Take care of yourself, stay safe, and I'll see you soon.